All right, all right. What is up, good people? Welcome to the show. We are in the building. Al Boogie says Bernard. No, ain't no, hold on. He said Bernard, a high value man with Pookie tendencies. That's funny. That's very funny. But the one that I meant to click on was right there where you said, good morning, fellas. This a person of African American descent, B. Diddy, would be late for his own funeral. Halfway true. Halfway true. I'm working on it. He ain't through with me yet. But shout out to everybody in the building. And as you can see right there, even though I got to make that the letters white, where it's showing the membership badges, I got to make that white so you can see what it say. Because it says there it goes. Hold on, move that. Okay, yeah, become a where is it? Member. Now you can see it. Become a member. Been in the lab with a pen and a pad trying to get the label off. Figured out how to make some stuff pop up on the screen and just float in the air all cute like that. But shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit the like button as you come on in, whether you're catching it right now or as you're catching it after it's uploaded. Make sure you hit the like button. Either way, I appreciate you. And let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right, what's up, good people? Y'all have no idea how much I just made it back into my seat right at the buzzer. I mean, right at the buzzer. Right when he was letting out the thank you, I was flopping into my chair. So shout out to everybody in the building. Trying to stir up this coffee a little bit. Trying to hypnotize y'all like the chicken Get Out. That's low key what I'm really doing. And OG gonna clown me. I'm a little greasy this morning. But all right. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming on through. Shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early. J3 says, God bless St. Kevin. I think he's referring to, well, to the question in the title. How do we go from talking about Pookie and Ray Ray's and to talking about high value men. I'll explain what I mean in the context of that question, because a lot of people are taking it in a lot of different ways, which is fine because there's many different angles to talk about this thing. But the manosphere, at one point, it was a focus. I don't mean focus in like in a positive way, but there was a focus where was a lot of the conversation. The Pookie and the Ray Rays. Black women only want the Pookie and the Ray Rays. We know how that go. That conversation, even though I think it was a lot of good came out of that conversation, it was still some aspects of it that I didn't like. But we're not gonna relive the Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated Lame debate. But it's a few things worth noting and pointing out how the conversation changes and evolves, and are we having a realistic conversation, or are we just being wagged by the tail of, whatever the little viral uproar is, but we're gonna get into a number of things. I got a number of topics today. A portion of this, I've been threatening y'all with this for a while, but I'm actually going to follow through on it. A portion of this show will be only for members. I mean, you're going to hear the whole thing live. So if you stay here and watch the whole thing live, you hear the whole thing. But if you're not a member, I'm going to edit and crop out probably the second half of the show, and that's going to be for members only. That's how I'm going to be doing things. Going to see how that go. I got to get a member some perks and some benefits, because a lot of people are signing up and becoming members. I appreciate you for doing that. So I got to make some perks and benefits and do some members only content. That stuff will still be on Patreon. So if you are a patron, you will get to see all of that as well. But shout out, we got 100 people in here already, so appreciate everybody coming on through. Logan JJ says, because the vast majority of women decided they're not going to ride the struggle bus with no man. Shout out to Creflo Dollar, who eloquently said in his rebuttal to the Kevin Samuels phenomenon, he said they can do bad or you can do bad all by yourself. Very interesting that a pastor who's, I assume, read the Bible knows that a woman's purpose is a man, but he's encouraging women to do bad by themselves. That is interesting. That was interesting. Shout out to Pablo Frescobar, says no economy in the world. Okay, see, I changed that, but that ain't working. That gotta be bigger. I know I need glasses, so I gotta make that show up bigger. I'm sorry, that I was tinkering around with some things, but that ain't gonna work for me. See, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. That definitely ain't gonna. Okay, we gotta be okay. That right, here we go. I'm sitting there like, that wasn't working. I had to make that bigger. No economy in the world is designed for the majority to be wealthy. The majority are always in the middle income of people. Absolutely, that is true. RM in the building says, good morning, Bernard Riley and Grown Man Hour chat. Absolutely, absolutely. Face to face. Shout out to you, Deacon Dave. Shout out to you, American Negro, Jonathan Barronville. I didn't return your text message. It's a really elaborate reason why. It's because I'm messy like that. I just, I read text messages and I respond in my head, and then I put the phone down, and then it just gone. It's gone. It's gone. So yeah, that happens. But I read it. Just didn't respond. But shout out to Peoples Hernandez. 130 people in here. Hit the like button. He says, this is okay. That's about the last of the shout outs. He says, there's a high value. He says, there's a high value man going by Glocktavius now because of Bernard. Well, no, we already met Boardroom Pookie. He actually pulled up on us. Shout out to Zero for the name. Pookelius Ray Ravington. That was the funniest name on earth when he called that man Pookelius Ray Ravington. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Dr. Pookelius Ray Ravington. Boardroom Pookie. Pull it up on us. That was funny. Okay, so as we get things going here today, Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Coach Ali's Corner. Says, can't be hump day without some tricking. Shout out to BR and chat. Shout out to Coach Ali, who's in Atlanta. So I look forward to finally meeting you in person. And when the Manosphere meets up, shout out to Theodore Young, Theo Waff, as you know him here, hosting the IT seminar thingy majiggy. He's hosting that. That's going to be wonderful. And we decided to put a little Manosphere meetup on the. I'm talking about it like it's small. It's actually pretty big. I'm saying we put together a little thing, and we decided to put a little. Man, but if you look at everything that he got laid out there, it's a real event that he put some real money behind. And shout out to Theo for that. But no, it's a big deal. But shout out to Coach Ali. I look forward to seeing you down there because I know you in the ATL. So shout out to Coach Ali. Appreciate you coming through hard and heavy with the first super chat. Hitting me with the 50 spot.
$50. So that makes you rich?
It's a start.
Damn. Why you
All right, that got the show started off right. Let's get into things. A few preliminary topics before we get into the main thing. Low value Pookie. Right on, man. Way to own it. But no, let's get into a few things before we get into the main topic. It's a number of things. So one thing I'm going to be doing, just briefly hitting a few quick hidden topics, things that popped across my radar, and to give me an opportunity to play with new graphics and things I figured out how to do. But so recently, Shaquille O'Neal, that was so cold. I said his name, Shaquille O'Neal, and made it pop up right there. See, I know how to do some stuff. Now I told y'all I've been in the lab with a pen and a pad trying to get the damn label off, but y'all ain't believe me. But I know how to do it. I know how to do a few things now. But Shaquille O'Neal said something interesting recently. He was talking about how he didn't want to be a celebrity. I'm going to play the clip of what the hell he was talking about. And this is a little preliminary stuff before we get into the main topic. Gonna drop a little clip here. Where we at?
Celebrities are crazy. I don't want to be in that category. They are. They're going freaking insane. Don't call me that anymore. These people are out of their freaking mind. How they treat people, what they do, what they say. But just because I made it don't mean I'm bigger than you. Just because I made it don't mean I'm smarter than you. Just because I have more money than you don't mean that I'm better than you.
All right, enough of that. Now, my take on that with Shaquille O'Neal is that that's a bunch of fake hustle, because even though I love Shaquille O'Neal, one of my favorite basketball players of all time, I do think he's the greatest center of all time, because anything that happened back in the time before time, in the, before the, I'll say definitely before the, when I'm being hardcore, I say anything before the 80s don't count, but definitely anything before the 70s don't count. I give the 60s no credit at all. So Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell off the table. Kareem accomplished more. We're not getting into a basketball debate, which I know I love that round ball, but we're not going to get into a basketball debate here. But see, here's the thing, and here's the deal. Shaquille O'Neal saying that, it's almost like he's in a way, it's like he's sideways calling out celebrities, calling out his friends, but it's like it's a really soft shoe thing to do, and kind of fake, coming from somebody who I definitely love and respect as a pro athlete, as a celebrity. He's never gotten any, problems, nothing major off the court. But when it comes to celebrity craziness and just that overall celebrity culture, it reeks of fake, because like Shaq has done every wild, wacky, crazy thing imaginable. He's milked and maxed out his celebrity to the 10th power, and got rich off of it, used all his crazy, funny, wacky entertainment, everything that he brought to the table as a person, cashed it in with endorsements and made all that money, and took that money and invested, and was wild and wacky and goofy the whole way through. So it's almost like, yeah, you made your money. Not, I want to take off the jacket. I don't want to be a celebrity. I'm just a no. It's almost, It's fake. It's fake, and I wouldn't really feel in that from Shaq. It's just like the fake hustle. You know how I used to dive out of bounds to try to save the loose ball when the ball was already gone. The ball is already gone. There's no way of him saving it, but he just diving out of bounds into the crowd just to be seen diving into the crowd. That's one of them we don't believe you. You need more people situations. But shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. Definitely one of my favorite athletes. But nah, you don't get to take off the celebrity cloak when you've cashed in on it. Shaq's going to die a billionaire. You've cashed in on the celebrity, like so, and you worked it every step of the way to perfection. So I just thought that was a little patently, fake on Shaquille O'Neal's part, but definitely respect the man. Definitely respect the man. Sweet Melody Speaks in the building with the $5 super chat. Definitely appreciate her and everybody who's donating. He says, when's the Manosphere meetup? Can I come through to say hi? I'm not the authority on whether or not you can come, but I do know this. Theo said that there will be in conjunction to what's going on, I think he said there will be something for women going on somewhere else in there, in some other room. I would email Little Big Nate and by extension Theo and find out what's going on with that, because maybe it may be something there. But I know the IT aspect of it, that's just for black men. The Manosphere meetup aspect of it, that's just for black men. Now there's something there for women, actually. There's something there for women. Get with Nate or Theo on that. But the parts that I know about, as far as I know, it'll be only black men in the room. The whole thing from top to bottom, paid for, funded, participated in every way at every level, black men. That's what I know and understand that. But get with Theo and Nate, and they probably can give you some more information on that. But shout out to you. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Tone D in the building. He says, how did it go from everyday brother to high value man is the better question. Shit, we might get into that. We might get into that. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Appreciate that, and appreciate everybody who has become a member. Yeah, I see, as RM is saying right there, hit the like button. Definitely hit the like button. And you can barely see where it says become a member. I got to change that and make that white so it'll be more visible. But that says become a member. Become a member is going to be a lot of members only content on my channel. It'll be on the member page or it'll be on the Patreon page. So I definitely highly recommend, if you don't want to miss out on all the action, because y'all know all the action happened in the latter hours of the show. You don't want to miss out on the action. I recommend becoming a member. But if you watch it all live, you catch everything. So that's wonderful too. Silent Lamont in the building says Atomic Dog Inc. grand opening next month. What the hell? Once again, I don't know what Silent Lamont is talking about.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
But shout out to Silent Lamont. I don't know what he's talking. I don't know what Atomic Dogs Inc. is grand opening next month. I don't know what that is. But shout out to Silent. Everybody loved Silent Lamont's take on the last show, on the last discussion we was having. He came through. There's things that I say in a very long-winded way. Silent Lamont know how to just say it real fast and real quick, even though he can be long-winded too. He be criticizing Ed. Silent can be long-winded too. He got a reputation of not being long-winded, but he can be long-winded. He can be long-winded, but he does drop a lot of red pill manospherian truth bombs that must be acknowledged. So I do gotta give Silent his props on that. And high value man is in the topic, but I don't care to just overdrive that home. Like what somebody was saying, everyday brother versus the high value man. And I hate that that anybody would put a versus on that. I understand the Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated lame because I was talking about something very specific. We were talking about something very specific. It was an initial clapback to. Let me pull up. Well. Oh wait. Hold on. It's a few things. See, y'all be throwing me off. I gotta stay out of the chat when I got a presentation planned. Because there'll be a number of things I'll be trying to get into, and y'all will get me ahead of my schedule in the things that I wanted to talk about. But we're kind of going to be segueing into something I wanted to say about Kevin Samuels. I didn't do no content on this, and I think Kevin Samuels got something weird on his you can't even play Kevin Samuels content. He got that junk where you play his stuff, you lose your channel. The bots the bots take your channel. It ain't got nothing to do. It's out of his hands. But a chick called into his show. Okay, chick called into his show. She had asked a question. I guess it was an alright question. He liked the question because I think he took it like a question that he hadn't really experienced before. A chick said that, hey, I've seen the light. I had a high value man. I lost this high value man. How do I get him back? What can I do to get him back? So he was like, he stroked his beard and went to thinking and started trying to explain some things to her and was asking her some questions and so forth and so on and was giving her advice. Yeah, JB, that chick. Yeah. Was giving her advice on, things she could possibly do to get him back. And through the midst of it, when he was asking, like, what's the, status of the situation with him right now? Are y'all speaking? Have y'all been talking? And she was like, oh, no, I'm married. It's like, if you could just see Kevin Samuels' face when she said that. The whole, I can't make this up. It blew me away. That was one of those moments, how something crazy happened when you watching the chat room and the chat room is just going normal. It's like chat, everybody just chatting, and then somebody say something, and then it's like the chat room just stop for 2 seconds. The chat room just come to a complete halt, and then next thing you know, just comments going crazy. Oh man, that was the craziest stuff I had ever seen. But no matter how crazy a Kevin Samuels call is, no matter how crazy it is, I never lose sight of this simple fact that no call will take the cake, will take the cake or the title or the crown of the woman who called into that show asking for advice on how to get a high value man with herpes. That woman will forever and always be number one for me. Forever and always. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's a man in a doctor coat. He's high value, and that's clearly a herpes on his lip. Clearly a herpes on his lip. Nothing will ever be worse than that. But man, that was a close foot race. When I tell you they was neck and neck and she won by a nose, I mean, she won by a nose. The chick that was calling in for a high value man with herpes, because apparently, well, she didn't even say herpes, but she said that she got a gift or something. She need a man with the same gift. She got something she can't get rid of. And so, he was like, can you give me some advice on how to find a high value man who got the same affliction? He was like, you lucky you find a man breathing with herpes that won't be with you, let alone high value. If he breathing, you sit down and be happy. Sorry, Leo Anthony, you eating breakfast, man. My bad. But hey, you said the gift usually means HIV. Nah, I think in that case it was herpes. But either way it go, calling into a show requesting a high value man with HIV is pretty damn goofy as well. It's pretty damn goofy as well. Sorry if you're eating and you're looking at that herpy. I do apologize. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. I'm sitting here copying and pasting something. Now I'm doing this. Give me 1 second. 1 second while I get something set and ready to go. Paste that. All right, we good. We good. Had to get something. Had to get where? Oh shit! Am I? There we go. Okay. I had to get something ready to go for y'all. All right, get the likes up. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. We about to get into this thing. Shout out to Free Man Journal, the member, the channel member. Because as far as the channel membership, on my last show, not the last, was it the last show or the show before last? I don't even remember. Last show or show before last, me and Game Changer had a good little conversation, good one-on-one discussion, and we were reviewing the video, doing what we normally do, and ARC came up, and it was a good conversation. I'm glad they had the conversation respectfully on Game Changer's page, but panel ARC showed up, and I was like, good, that's a good time for me to send something to the membership or Patreon page. So if you want to see panel ARC go off on Game Changer, they had a little funny exchange. All of that is on. It was a good show either way. If you missed it, but it was a good show, and then it just went from good to classic with when panel ARC showed up. Game Changer said something to set them off, and it was over. It was over. But getting into the topic here, but become a member. It'll trust me. It'll be to your benefit. All right, how do we go from talking about Pookie and Ray Ray to high value men? I heard somebody say something that and albeit a very disingenuous question. A very disingenuous question. A very disingenuous question that it was. Somebody asked the question. Worded kind of sloppy. Somewhere along the lines like this. Well, when some of the black women, do they all want the Pookie and Ray Rays, or do they all just want the high value men? Now, the critics say things like that all the time. Critics they throw out stuff right there to try to find us in some type of contradiction. They do. And I understand that. And that's that's what they're there for. That's what they do. That's what critics going to do. Critics going to criticize. But it was a situation where it was like, hey, y'all got to get y'all story together. If y'all saying they all want high value men, but at first y'all was saying they wanted was Pookie and Ray Rays. Now, whenever somebody's saying all like that, they're being disingenuous. That's why I say it was disingenuous from the start. But it was a fair question out there, and so it drove me to just think and analyze, okay, are we just having conversations that can become too contrived based off whatever is the viral thing, or are we really pinpointing closer to what's actually going on in reality? And one thing that I love about the manosphere, what drove me to it, is the focus on data. Looking at the data, looking at the science. There are some intangible things when talking about social dynamics between men and women that you can't science. It's hard to put some science on a guy. Just there's some things that you can't just science your way through all the time. But most of the time, if you're analyzing things properly from a good sociological perspective, you can actually do the science. And one thing I loved about the manosphere is that it really hit home on that everything else was just filling in conjecture, but the manosphere was getting it right. The manosphere was getting it right. They were looking at the data and staying strict to the data, wherever the data led. You know, we went on blackdemographics.com. It could have just revealed all the stats to show that, hey, black men are trash. In some areas, yeah, black men are slacking. But we just took a hardcore look at the data, and the data is what the data is, and just took a unflinching look at it. I love that. That's how I knew we was on the right track. Son is hot Ron in the building with the super chat. He says the only thing a boardroom Pookie and CEO Nino, damn, is doing in a boardroom meeting is dance on top of the table like court jesters typically do. Thank you for the super chat, the $5 super chat. Shout out to you for that. But yeah, I love that we are precise and we, really, damn it, I didn't mean to click on that. There we go. Good. Glad I got rid of that. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw it. It was annoying. Glad we got rid of that. Glad I got rid of that. But so like I was saying, I'm glad that we look at the data and analyze things properly and try to get the most accurate picture of reality. But sometimes things can get, a little more contrived, a little more engineered, a little more algorithm driven, and then we could end up straying away from some aspects of the reality that we normally stand firm on. But in 2017 to 2019, around the time that I started finding this space, I don't know if it was late 2017 or early 2018 or probably some overlapping of both, is when I started finding this space. I ran into Obsidian, and yeah, he was deep diving pretty hard on the data, on a lot of things, and he was going in pretty hard on the Pookie and Ray versus Educated Lane debate back then. I think it's better described as Cads versus Dads, and that's something else that came from Obsidian. But he was going in pretty hard on that, and it was a consensus that that black women have bad mating choices. They make bad mating choices. All right. Talking about men not being worth this, and black men being this, and black men being that, and the whole single mother out of wedlock birth rate. That's just men just being bad men and not stepping up to the occasion, not rising to the occasion, doing what they supposed to do as men. And then data like this, it's all on men. It's all on black men. That was the general consensus prior to the black manosphere. And so, in a way to explain, we going back in the time machine now, a way to explain in a shorthanded, easy to digest way, female mating choices, the Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated Lame argument started to ensue. It got pretty heated. It definitely got pretty heated. There was casualties in that war. There was casualties in that war. But what came out of that is a perception that the black manosphere was saying that all black women want are the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Now, I never felt that was the case. I always thought that when you talk about Cads versus Dads, you are being more accurate. Cads versus Dads just refers to, guys, like, for example, women, they know they know if a man has a BDE, what they call it, big I'm trying to keep it halfway clean, Big Johnson energy. So you know if a man got good dad energy. They know that. They know that. They know who they sleeping with. All right. They know who they sleeping with. That's why I shouted out Silent Lamont earlier. He said that decent guy that the manosphere can empirically prove exists. 51% of black men, 54% of black men are so single and childless. A considerable percentage of them are doing well. These are single, working, childless, unmarried men. They're out there. They're available. Who are y'all getting pregnant by? And then who are y'all pulling up to late in the game looking for the bailout? The manosphere drilled down on that one pretty hard. And I think they've made some irrefutable arguments and presented some irrefutable evidence. So the manosphere definitely did the thing on that front. Definitely. And it was hard to argue with that. It was definitely hard to argue with that. And that's where the whole shaming came into the plan. We're going to circle back around to that later in the show. That's where the whole shaming came into the play. These men are making good arguments. They're right. But then that's where that was the origin. That was the Marvel origin story of the you just mad because you can't get no peace leave argument. You just mad because you don't got access to these women. That's where the argument came from. And again, I always felt like that was a disingenuous argument, but I'm starting to think for some people that's true. For some people that was true. Even though I thought that was a disingenuous argument, for some people that actually turned out to be. For some people that meant that may very well be the case. Not putting a number on it, not putting a percentage on it, but in general, I do say that those were shaming tactics because the other side was right and you just want them to shut up. More or less, that's generally what that was. But when it comes to breaking down the arguments, that data that I just had up, the Black manosphere was right. So from a sociological perspective, it was empirically right, it's economically right, sociologically, morally, you name it, it was right. It got the right answer. The data was clear. The separation in Black families is the root cause of everything that we're seeing. Who women reproduce with was the separation and everything that we were seeing, and they just couldn't say Black men and put a big circle around it because the data made it clear that the majority of Black men didn't fall into the problem. So you can really pin down how the mating choices was a factor in the equation. Who you got pregnant by was a factor in the equation. It is. There's not too many ways to get around that. And it pinned down quite well. And we're seeing another manifestation of this with Kevin Samuels' show, that a lot of them see the score when it's too late. They realize too late to go back to the point that Silent Lamont made. These guys who've been responsible, have done well, they either got their money right, either doing really well or just doing decent. They taking care of themselves, they good, they solid, but they know where these women been. You ain't showing up with babies trying to get a bailout after you've lived that life that you live, and I've lived a fairly responsible life. Good arguments. Good arguments. And the manosphere was hashtag the Black manosphere was right. Hashtag the Black manosphere was right. So, as we see them, after all the talk from 2017 to 2019 was about the Pookie and Ray Ray's educated lane, that whole little thing, Cass versus Daz, everything going on. And Kevin Samuels grew his platform, and then women, technically the type of women that we described, who spent their life either choosing guys for all the wrong reasons because of swag, charm, wit, charisma, or if she was into the hood looking dude, or whatever her reasons were. Choosing guys who, at bare minimum, we could say sketchy, non-committal. Even if they don't fall in the category of Pookie. That's the guy to get you aroused. That's the guy you're sleeping with. That's the guy you end up producing with. That's the guy who you spend those are the type of guys you spent your 20s with, and now you're showing up late to the party, mid-30s, calling into Kevin Samuels' show with 2 kids, talking about how do you get even if we take the word high value off of it, a responsible man who's willing to commit. He ain't there. He ain't there for obvious reasons, for reasons that the Black manosphere have been laying out for years. That's why I said the Black manosphere was right. We definitely got it right. When everybody else wanted to talk about racism and white supremacy and all this systemic stuff and everything and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not even going there on that stuff today. But everybody want to talk about all of that. I think the Black manosphere did drill down on the area where, yes, this is where the problem is. Black manosphere was right. And in turn, to the question, going back to that disingenuous question, well, do they all want high value men, or do they all want Pookie and Ray Rays? It's both, because they end up at the same place. If they spent their whole 20s chasing the unicorn of the dreamboat guy, they're still going to end up. They're still going to more than likely end up in the same place as the chick who spent all her 20s messing with sketchy or Pookie and Ray Ray type. They're going to end up at the same place. They're going to end up at the same place, being over 30, 35 or whatever, because while she's chasing the dreamboat guy, she's still having sex with somebody. So they're going to end up at the same place in their mid 30s with a couple kids, possibly by a couple men, trying to figure out where the good men at. They end up at the same place regardless when they're not doing it right. But overall, it is a good thing. Shut up, Sleepy said Final Destination. But overall, it is a good thing. We got 319 people in here. Hit the like button and consider becoming a member. Y'all can see it down there, even though I keep saying I gotta fix that. But if you follow, it says become a member. Become a member. I gotta make that white so y'all can see it. But shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. They end up at the same place. They have the same destination. Either way, if they're not doing things right. Shout out to, I believe that was Cheryl Sandberg. She said basically have fun from 18 to 25. Date them all, do what you do not get pregnant, and then go and marry Poindexter. There it is. That's what she flat out told him. Go and marry Poindexter after you've had your fun, but just show up still in shape with no babies. And that's truly where black men are at with it. Black men are on some, we be talking about body count, but that ain't really black men just like, don't show up with kids. Don't show up with somebody else's kids. And if you don't look just so obvious that you've been out there, clowning, if you don't leave a trail, if you don't got a reputation that precedes you, then you're for the most part good. We've been broken down to that point, I say that makes us fairly easy. Compared to other men, I think that makes us fairly easy. But in general, I do like the notion. This is getting back to where, Kevin Samuels blew up, High Value became all the rage. And then now we're having discussions about how they want high value men or holding off a high value men, or will only get in a relationship that they really truly respect if the man is making a certain amount of money. That's really truly what it has become to some degree. To some degree. With a lot of women, it's this whole thing on the whole mating crisis. I may talk about that, where like women are just in their fifis because there's not enough men that make a lot of money. Okay, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen when you fought for policies and pushed for policies that ultimately resulted in women being in school at a 60-40 on a college campus now. 60% of enrolled students on a college campus, 60% women, 40% men. What did you expect? BTS did a really good pre-recorded rant on that. One of the best rants I heard in a while. One of the best rants I've heard in a while. He went in on that one, because what'd you expect? Now there was some BS to the article because they didn't talk about money. They didn't talk about money because men still make more than women. But again, because women in a society that's made easy for them to function by men, they're able to perform in some ways better than men in their mind, at least. They got a bachelor's degree in something and this guy don't, even though he make either the same, if not more money. They're still able to, in their mind, Like the whole article was dealing with their feelings. Like we really care that much about their feelings. I feel like a man should have a bachelor's degree if I have a bachelor's degree. That's really all that article was really saying to me. It wasn't saying anything tangible. It was just talking about just their whole little social, what they want and what they feel like they should have. But in all practicality, if men are still more employed than women and still make more money than women, they're not missing anything. It's just that their money has caught up. Just that their money has caught up to men, and that was by design, by society. And in theory, it's not a bad thing. It's not in theory, but in practicality, it's horrible. In practicality, it's horrible. They thought that they could socially engineer women into wanting something else. But no, their biology kicks in. They want a man that's better than them. But if society brings women to be equal to men, then there's going to be women complaining because there aren't enough men that are outperforming them. That's just shout out to Thomas Sowell. There's no solutions, it's only trade-offs. So of course, in their erratic female emotions somewhere in there, yes, absolutely. It's a mating crisis because I'm not able to sit across the dinner table and tell you what nice university my husband or boyfriend went to. Yeah, he worked construction and he make more money than what you make with your degree in basket weaving, but so it's turned into a goofy thing, a very goofy thing that's happening on a grand scale in this country and globally in the Western world. But I like what Kevin Samuels has done, where he's shined a light on it in Black America. And so I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing if the conversation is them wanting, even though the term high value man, and shout out to Osama Abdu who pointed out in my in the comment section how rare the high value man is, and Kevin Samuels points that out as well. The high value man is rare. The way I look at it is that if Black women are choosing men more off of their abilities, based more off, their what do I always say? Competence, character, and willingness to commit. If women get in that mindset, in general, that's a good thing. Black women have never been in that mindset, at least not until they got around 35 or 40, but they still expected to get what they was able to get at between 20 and 25 with no kids. But either way, if women are in general, I mean, if it's transitioning from, charm, swag, wit, charisma versus a guy, I'm not even going to say high value. I'm just going to say a guy whose value is high, a guy who offers something as opposed to penis and bubble gum. If that's the mindset that they're in, I do got to say that's generally a good thing. Even though Kevin Samuels showed it was part of that initial spark, it is undeniable. Silent to come up here and let me know every time I forget, but we can't deny that simple that initial spark in his show. It was a lot of the get the bag chicks. It was a lot of the finesse dude chick that was calling in. One of them ended up on mute with a hot mic. That hot mic told the story. That hot mic definitely told the story, and we could hear her trying to finesse some old dude. She didn't know. She thought she was on mute, and she started talking on the phone. Kevin Samuels played that junk live. She was on there trying to finesse the old dude. Yeah, a lot of that She-Ra 7 crowd came in there. It was some get the bag, ganka. I was about to make up a term, but it was a lot of that going on. But at the end of the day, I give Kevin Samuels his credit because he have effectively steered the conversation in the direction where he's highlighting the backwards notion, the backwards nature of Black female mate choices, and putting a spotlight on the type of things they should be looking for. Now, there's a high value conversation, and I really don't care for that one. And yes, that's the shiny object that lured them in, that he dangled in there to lure them in. But really, what's happening is when they come in, they're having a good conversation about Black relationships and how we're doing so many things wrong. So in that sense, it's a good conversation. But what I don't want to happen, I'm about to explain what I don't want to happen here. And I can see it going that way because I can see us getting real goofy in how we analyze and perceive what's going on there. It's turning into the same thing that we was pushing back against, where it was the when people point out, say something about the Pookie and Ray Rays or this or that, oh, you just mad because you can't get no peace leave. It's almost like we turning into that again. It's like but flipped around. It's like no, it's not time to get goofy and ignorant with this. I'll explain what I mean later. Kenneth Williams in the building with the super sticker. Appreciate that. Shout out to you for putting 5 on it, my brother. Where's the 5 on it? Drop. Out to you, my man. Native Arain in the building says Big Money Bernard in my old man voice. I hear J. Anthony Brown every time you say that. Big Money Bernard. I don't know. Oh, that sounds more like Ronaldo Ray than J. Anthony Brown. But since you dropped a $10 super chat, and shout out to all the passport bros in the audience. You know what you get for $10 over here.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want. Everything? Everything.
I'm going to be dropping a clip. Something real funny happened in my one-on-one with Game Changer. Not to blow up with ARC, that's on my members page, but something else really, really funny happened where your algorithm, your YouTube algorithm, the ads that they send you can out you if somebody is watching when they suggest the ads to you. And I got outed with the ad that they suggested to me. It was, but I'm going to play that. Pablo, if you're listening, you definitely going to get a kick out of that. When I drop the next pre-recorded video, Pablo, you're going to love it. Platinum Elite in the building. Essence, BET, and the sisterhood has destroyed the minds of Black women. Fat and angry is today's Black woman. Platinum, you know you love them, Platinum. Cut it out. But shout out to Platinum. Shout out to Platinum. Shout out to Plat. I haven't even been reading the chat. I just see Silent and Obsidian going back and forth, and I decided I'm not going to even read it. I'm going to stay focused on what I came here to say, and that's that. But I do see that Silent and Obsidian is going back and forth in the chat. But like I was saying, not a bad thing that the women, at least online in this cyberspace, that they're looking at, even though it ain't right, and men are people too, but I don't mind men being judged or being looked at or valued based off what they accomplish and what they do. I don't mind that. Now you got to be a man and grab your testicles and understand that you accomplish that value that you add, should come with requirements. As long as men understand that, I don't care if a man is valued by what he accomplished. I don't care if women are chasing him because of what he accomplished. As long as he understands that what he accomplished has value that gives him right to to require certain things. And if they don't meet the demands or requirements, then they gone. And then that's a good thing. But I don't want to see the conversation devolve down to, and I said this earlier in my, it's sort of coming true where, yeah, I said women going to use the high value man thing to gaslight men, and men are going to use high value to virtue signal. And we can't just look at what's happening online in a viral sensation and talk about that like that is strictly what the dating market is. When we know that there are highs, lows, levels, and layers, depths and flow, ebbs and flows, and in betweens with all of this stuff. Like we know that. Like we know there's so many moving parts when it comes to human interaction. So it's like we can get real goofy real fast when we start breaking down and explaining things. Shout out to um K Dazzy looks, money, status. I was about to get into that. Select, non-select, high value man with options. They keep rebranding words as an excuse since they can't get the women they want. Now you're just doing exactly what I talked about. Shout out to you. Appreciate the $5 super chat, but you just did it. You just did it. So I gotta stare that one right in the face. Look, the only guy who's truly losing, is the guy who, yes, if he lacks looks, height, money, status, game, and personality in general, if he's underperforming in all those categories, yeah, that I just described an incel. I forgot to put intelligence in there. Because if you're intelligent, you can get your money up. Even though, I'm not about to get into that debate of rather just because you make money, that don't mean you're smarter, but in a lot of cases it do. A lot of cases it do. The average IQ for an engineer is something like 120. Engineers are smart. They make they're going to make anywhere from, depending on what kind of engineer, it could be anywhere from 80 to 90,000 to all the way up into the 200,000 somewhere, depending on what kind of engineer. And I could be wrong on that, and an engineer in the audience can correct me. Engineer in the audience can correct me, but depending on what type of engineer you are, it's a lot of money to be made, and I guarantee you won't find an engineer with a 72 IQ. Guarantee. So yeah, intelligence matters. So you can lump that into that whole little matrix of what what ranks you or puts you where you are. You could do that. That can happen. You could definitely do that. What is going on? All right, yeah, I gotta quit tripping. Right, where are we at? Okay, all right, we good. We back. All right. Yeah, I gotta quit tripping. But the type of guy I just described, that is a good type of, the only guy that is losing. When homeboy, who was that, said they just keep changing name around to try to, what did he say? Looks, money, status, select, non-select, high value man with options. They keep rebranding words as an excuse since they can't get the women that they want. It's some of that going on. But see, this is what I don't like. This is what I don't like. Even though there's a there to what you're saying, because if you go to like the black pill incel channel, sorry, like I always say, sorry, Zero and BGS, the incel / black pill / they stole it and rebranded black pill and made it so closely associated with incel. Sorry, they stole it from you. They have better marketing and branding. But yeah, if you're looking at when I look over there, I do hear a lot of it's over defeatism. What I don't like is when the black manosphere makes really good arguments and really good points and break things down that really lines up with the data and what we see with our own eyes. that people try to then do the spin move and say, well, you just mad because you can't get the woman that you want. Was the argument a good argument or bad argument? Was he right or was he wrong? If you can't argue it on the merits and you're leaping right to you just can't get the woman that you want, then at that point you technically should not be taken that serious in a discussion, because points make sense or don't make sense on their merits, not whether or not the individual making the point can get the woman that he wants. Kevin Samuels makes a lot of points against women and in favor of men, but he don't have the personal problem of not being able to get the woman that he wants. So what he's saying is either accurate, either true or false, either accurate or inaccurate based on the merits of what he's saying. So that's why I don't like exactly what you did right there. Even though it's there. It's something there. I'm not gonna take that completely away from you. And the rebranding aspect of it is something that I was getting at earlier. So we might be more on the same page. Because I did say that the whole Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated Lame debate and discussion, yeah, that did devolve down to dudes just trying to Johnson wave over how much peace leave they could get. It did devolve down into that. That's exactly where it devolved down to. And then now that, shout out to Silent Lamont again, 1.21 nigawatts later, there's a thriving channel known as, Kevin Samuels' show, where women are calling in saying that they want a high value man, and the high value man in a lot of cases, not all cases, is somebody who probably may have been called or associated or affiliated with what would be considered an educated lame. So it's like in this whole little cyber war, it's like the educated lames won. Obsidian used to say that the Kevin Samuels ended the educated lame versus Pookie and Ray Ray debate. And I didn't know what he was really talking about, but I get it to some degree, because now the women are saying that they essentially do want the guy with that's that's made good decisions, And now that women in this whole little cyber war thing, they're on a million sub platform saying that they want that. And now guys, not just Pookie and Ray Rays, but now even average guys, regular guys, run of the mill Joe guys is not. Now it's like, you ain't this, or you ain't that, or you ain't that. Now they sounding just like how Negroes sound in 2017, 2019, derailing the discussion when the discussion was about, when discussion was about something else. But it just turns into men figuring out a way to put themselves at the top of a pyramid, and so they can talk junk to people who were deemed below them based off the erratic, whimsical, flimsy women saying what they wanted or showing what they wanted. I mean, it's just devolving into something weird and goofy. So I'm really, truly, damn near calling for a ceasefire or just some clarity, that because the conversation is getting out of hand. The conversation can get out of hand, and it can stop being grounded in reality, because the reality is that men are okay. That is my view. That's my perspective, and I will generally stand on that. Shout out to Max Truckers that he's a medium value man. Men are okay, all right? I just described that guy who's all the way at the ground floor. That guy, yeah, he has his problem. He's an incel, and he probably doesn't even have the intelligence or the get up and go to make more money and be successful. But those categories that are named, and I've done a stream similar to this before, but those categories that are named, if you're performing average at most of those and maybe above average at one, you're doing okay. And even if it is the case that women, that a lot of women are, in a place now with the Ghost just said a ceasefire will not take place. I know. Even if it is the case, and I do think it's the case, that a lot of women in this modern world, when women have gotten their rights and they making their money and they doing their thing and they can make their own money, they can provide for themselves. The overall value of a man has went down. The overall value of family has gone down. So they only find value in a man in a lot of cases, not all, but in a lot of cases, when they can if there's a lot of financial benefit for it. And if the financial benefit is a guy up there making a amount of money that only a small percentage of men make, which means that they're going to get in relationships. They're going to be having sex with this guy, sex with that guy, relationship with this guy, relationship with that guy. But if they're not truly respecting the relationship, and then it leaves the dating pool and the dating market in a certain position. That much is true. But see, here's the thing: men are okay. I think a brother performing average money wise and average in some of the other little categories or whatever, yeah, he can have his own house, take care of himself, put food on his own table, and occasionally get a woman in there, have some sex. She don't want to stay, whatever, good, whatever. I'm fine with that. Men are good. Men are good. Men are prepared. Men are prepared to live that life. It's the women that are having the tragic outcomes. If men are having tragic outcomes, well, society don't give a damn about men anyway. like we're used to that. So men are not in some crisis. Men are in a situation where it is what it is. I can take care of myself and get some occasional peace leave over here, and that's that. If that's what the dating market is, then that's what it's going to be. And I don't have to move. Men are actually good with that. Theo Wap in the building says, I am that educated lame now. No debt, own my own home and car, no alimony, no kids, single, and $50K monthly at least. Modern women, $50K monthly at least. Modern women need not apply. Right on, right on, right on. Yeah, like, listen. Theo is killing it. Theo is killing it. Theo is the man. The definite blessing to this space. Shout out to Theo. Appreciate you coming through hard and heavy with the super chat. Coach Ali's Corner in the building. He says, AT on me would have been that guy mad because I couldn't get what I wanted. I don't really see guys out there just mad because they can't get what they want. I mean, I see guys noticing, acknowledging that not getting exactly what I want, but who the hell is? Who the hell is? That ain't really what I'm seeing. Men are the least choosy of the two sexes. The link is in the chat, by the way. Men are the least are the least choosy of the two sexes. Sex is easy to get for women. It's hard to get for men, harder to get for men. So men are not very choosy, not very picky when it comes to it. So because of that, men tend to be okay. A guy who's somewhere between 5 and 6, he's okay with women that's in between that range. He ain't tripping. But as I get, but yeah. Of course you want a little hot baddie. I mean, of course. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? But as I got older, went to college and traveled, I realized what's out here. The problem is that now the other side of the story is being told. The problem is that now the other side of the story is being told. Absolutely. And shout out to you for the $20 super chat. Definitely appreciate you coming through with the $20 super chat.
I want 150,000. So we can set out of court right now for $20. Man, get your
Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who have supported the stream. I highly recommend you become a member because not all of this will be left up. So if you want to catch it, you probably will have to be a member. But without further ado, we got, oh man, click your camera button. Yeah, I don't see an image of you. I just see black. There it is.
Go.
It was just showing blackness. Shout out
Darkness.
Obsidian. I can't
Darkness.
do this yet. Shout out to the old man.
Darkness. Where's the strawberry when you need her?
I just right when I put my ear set in, I heard you say, "Where's Rashida Strober when you need her?" I don't know what to make of that comment, but what's going on? Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is a good conversation. We're gonna have a good one today. Let me just, if I may, correct one thing, Bernard.
Mhm.
It is true. This is not my opinion, by the way. This is taking it all the way back to Darwin on his theory of sexual selection. Okay. It is true that the male of the mammalian species across the planet, not just male human beings, but males of other animal species. It is true that they are much less choosier with regard to mating than the female. That's true. Now, bringing it back to humans. It's true in a particular context. With regard to short-term casual mating, wherein which the female imposes no costs on the male in order to tap it, and that nobody's likely to know about it. Yes, the male is much less choosier. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to a publicly acknowledged long-term mateship, marriage, long-term relationship, etc., men have been observed, this is science now, men have been observed to have much higher standards. For example, men place a much higher premium on a woman's face, the looks of her face, when it comes to a long-term mateship as opposed to a short-term one. As a matter of fact, science has shown us that what we would call the butterface is the optimal woman for a casual fling or for something on the down low or friends with benefits or something like that. That's science. I'll post a link in the chat in a minute. So you're right up to a point. And that's very important for Black America, because here in Black America, we place a high premium on short-term casual mating. Both sexes do, both Black men and Black women. This is something that Kevin was getting at. I didn't see his live last night on IG, but I saw him the other night. I think it was Monday night on YouTube. And that's a point that he was getting at, was that both sexes place a high premium on short-term mating. And in and of itself, that's not a bad thing. Short-term mating has always been with us. Casual sex has always been with humanity. In and of itself, that's not a bad thing. It is a bad thing, however, if you're attempting to build something long-term and substantial behind it. When Kevin talks about neither side wants to invest in long-term mating, which does involve risk, he is right. Short-term mating, by definition, is very low risk. For example, look at the time factor. Time is a resource for both sexes. Time is a resource. So you invest more time in long-term mating than you do in short-term mating. As a matter of fact, the name of the game with short-term mating is to invest as little time as possible. But it's the exact opposite when it comes to long-term mating. That's the name of the game. You want to have more time for evaluation of the potential mate, more time for assessment. And that means that there are more opportunities for discrepancies, incongruencies, mendacity to come out. Whereas in a casual mating context, it's very difficult to suss out all those things, which is the reason why casual mating has such a high, if I can use the term, fraudulent rate. It has a very high rate for frauds, finessing, stealthing, what's the other one? Dinner whoring, all these things. They're much higher in a casual mating context than in the long-term mating context. Black America, in my opinion, Black America, because we're new to the freedom dance. What I mean by that is all the other people of American life, the various ethnicities, races, and so forth, they have had a longer time working with American freedom than black people have. We've been free less than 60 years as a result of the civil rights movement and so on and so forth. We've only been free for less than 6 decades. So we're still new to this. And, freedom can be messy as we, kind of learn to, work our way out through this. Black people are coming to grips with the fact that we don't need each other. It's a question of whether we want each other and in what way and in what context. And that's something that we're still working out. It's something that's still an open question. We haven't figured that out yet. And it's going to take time for us to figure it all out. I don't think it's going to be worked out anytime soon. I think it's going to take at least another decade or two for it to all shake itself out. So that's kind of where we are with it. And many of us are attempting to work a mode of mating into another mode of mating that's completely different. Casual mating, by definition, is highly sexual, because that's really what it's all about. Whereas long-term mating is almost the exact opposite. I mean, there's sexuality very little has to do with sexuality when it comes to a long-term mate. And anybody who's been married, you've been married. Anybody who has been married, for that matter, anybody who has been, in a long-term relationship can attest to the fact that, sex don't play that big of a role on a day-to-day ongoing basis. It just doesn't. It's almost like, I hate to say it this way, it's almost like a special event, in the course of a marriage. I'm talking about a good marriage now. I'm not talking about a bad marriage, a mediocre marriage. I'm talking about a good one. A good, stable, happy marriage. You ain't banging and sexing each other every day. You're just not. You're concerned with other things on a day-to-day basis. Kids, bills being paid, other stuff of life. That's just the plain truth. And for Black Americans, that's a challenge for us. How do we get along when we ain't in the bedroom? How do Black men and Black women get along when we not, doing the rumpy bumpy? That's a major challenge in a time where, we don't have to. Back in the past, we had to get along, man. We was dealing with Jim Crow. That was a very real thing. That's not true anymore. So a real question for Black men and Black women becomes, if we ain't doing the bumpy bumpy, how do we get along? That's my fundamental thesis. And I think that as time has gone on, and time will continue to go on, it will continue to bear me out and vindicate me on this point. The single biggest problem facing us is that we don't get along. I'm talking about Black men and Black women. We don't get along. If it ain't about, banging each other, there's really nothing else. And that's the fundamental challenge, and that's the fundamental problem. And Kevin's show is focused on that. He's not focused on sex. He's not even focused on love, as a matter of fact. If you listen to a lot of his shows, he'll tell you he's not even focused on love either. He's focused on the day-to-day pragmatic realities of how male and female get along to deal with the stuff of life. That's what he's talking about. And as you can hear, not many Black people have a real response to that. I say it's because we're still trying to work out what it means to be free and how to live in love in a free way. Not in the way that it was imposed on us from outside forces beyond our control. Mm-hmm. So that's the real challenge. The other thing I would say briefly, if I could, one thing that I did notice about this whole high value man thing, which was really interesting when you compare it to the Pookie and Ray Ray thing. First of all, as one of the architects of that debate, the Pookie and Ray Ray debate, I want to make this clear. I did that to respond to Black women who for years have been talking about the outcomes of their mating, reproducing with, making a life with, read, hitching their wagon to black men who were clearly, by any estimation, not up to the task, not up to the job, clearly subpar. And my response to them was, then why are you continuing to mate with, reproduce with, make a life with, hitch your wagon to these men?
Right.
That's
And
my argument.
yeah, and when you did that, one of the responses was, well, they more or less are like that. And that's why I go back to what I was saying in my opening monologue, is that no, the Black Manosphere in one way or another showed that that was nonsense. That,
Right. We all know
yeah.
where that came from. We don't need to go back down that rabbit hole. But I just said this in response to that sentiment. Not only is what you're saying not true, that same source of sentiment then came back and updated that talking point by saying, because they're the sexiest. I have no problem with that. I got no problem if you want to bang a loser because he's sexy. He's just more sexier than the guys that are boring and stable and all the rest of it that we have agreed now and you have admitted do exist. I got no problem with that. My only issue is when you reap the predictable results, which did happen in that case, hint, hint, wink, nod.
Yeah.
When you reap those results, please keep it to yourself. Don't go and spread it around and try to scapegoat all the other brothers now. You consciously made a choice. I respect your choice. You consciously made a decision. I respect your decision. But now you got to shut the F up and bear that cross on your own. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Captain Cisco in the building. He says, Obsidian, we working out. Stop thinking about this stuff so hard and go SYSBM. Shout out to Captain Cisco. Funny.
May I respond to that?
Briefly, because I do want to get Pablo in here.
Yeah.
But
I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why all these guys are so concerned about me going SYSBM. I wonder why they have such a hard. The longer I live, do this, the more I'm pleasantly surprised. Because I'm thinking the things that I say and the positions that I take, black women would be up in arms over. And that hasn't been the case. The positions that I take and stuff is more often than not, I find a lot of black men in the black manosphere get up in arms over. It's not black women. Black women are very quiet. So on these issues, it's interesting to note just how many brothers are like, why are you so bent out over this? Why can't it just be living? That's something else that black people, because we've been collectivized for so long, black people have been collectivized. Racism, Jim Crow, that collectivized us. We couldn't be individuals. We couldn't be seen as individuals in our own right. And many black people have taken that collectivization and used it as a strength. I mean, the civil rights movement wouldn't have happened had it not been for collective black action.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You couldn't do that on an individual basis. You had to be collective to do that. And there was something to be said for that. But freedom in a Western world, American context, means being an individual. And that's very hard for a lot of black people to accept.
Well, I think it's something different than that. Well, I think what happens is to some degree, when people are breaking down the dynamics, all the varying social dynamics of black men and black women in this whole 21st century modern dating market, some people interpret that as this black man who's pointing out the problems and the outcomes of the problems. Some people will shorthand straw man it and say that, oh, you're personally struggling with the woman in your personal life. Well, why not try something different? So my question is the person who you're saying just go SYSBM, did this person tell you that he's currently dealing with an uncooperative, out of pocket black woman? Because if he has a legitimate complaint about his day-to-day life in the woman that he's dealing with, or the women that he's dealt with over a period of time, and he can't get no better results, but he also says, I will only deal with this type of woman from this race and this culture, this country, this, and then yes, then it's a fair suggestion. Hey, why don't you try this? but they make that suggestion a lot of times, whether or not the person has clearly stated that that's his issue. Like, for example, I've always said, yeah, I'm with an American black woman. She treats me very well. When I was single, I dated all women. I never just said black women only. Now, if I said black women only and I was having problems with that, and then Pablo would be right to be like, hey, well, have you considered this? Do you got a passport? That would be a fair suggestion. So I mean, so it's nothing wrong with the suggestion. It's just when it's out of nowhere. That's where it's like, all right, I call it the unwarranted SYSBM commercial. That's what I call it. But shout out to Pablo.
Especially in light of
hold on, wait. I want to get Pablo. I want to get Pablo in on this. But hold on, real quick. Shout out to Dallas Cowboys. Appreciate you coming through with the super chat. And Body Thug in the building. He says, where does character / integrity come into this conversation? I actually put it in the conversation. I always say that a man's competence, character, and willingness to commit are more or less the 3 things that a woman ought to be looking at if she has her head on straight. But so I do bring that. Some people overlook that. I think the character part matters. I mean, you don't want to get with a guy who's gonna start slapping you up and doing ignorant stuff. So I mean, yeah, character matters. Character matters. If we're talking about long-term situations, I'm talking about short-term, and character don't mean anything. But all right, KD in the building with the $50 super chat, always coming through hard and heavy. Definitely appreciate this brother and the contribution that he makes. But shout out to Pablo Fresco Bar in the building, and Pablo been doing good things over there on his channel. He's definitely been putting out some nice live streams lately. So you're doing yourself a disservice if you ain't over there subscribed to Pablo. RM, I see you dropping links. Drop Pablo's link in the chat as well. Y'all can go check Pablo out if you're not subscribed to him. Definitely doing good work over there. But go ahead, Pablo, you got it.
Yeah. And to the brother that dropped that comment about Obsidian just going S5SPM, he need to go check out my video called "We Are Alabama. We Don't Recruit." We're not the Jehovah's Witnesses. No offense to Jehovah's Witnesses. We're not knocking on doors, recruiting. No, this is the path less traveled.
Well, hold on. Want to know the funny thing real quick? I'm sorry to cut you off, Pablo. The funny thing is, y'all really don't have to recruit. Like, somebody can listen to my content or Kevin Samuels' content and just like, we damn near doing the work for you sometimes. But so that's why I'm like, y'all really don't have to recruit. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's that. But to this particular topic, I find it interesting that within the whole high value man conversation, is it night after night, day after day on Kevin Samuels' channel, black women are pretty consistent in what they say they want, right? They want a man making 6 figures. They say, if you bring home this amount, I'll find my submission. I'll pull it out of my back pocket. I'll whip it out. There you go. You got it. Right? And so only 8% of all the men, or somewhere between 5 and 8%, earn that kind of money. And that's of all races, not black men is probably lower than that. But so is it fair that only 8% of the men the women want? No, it's not fair. It's not fair. My whole argument from an SYSBM perspective, Passport Bros perspective, is we ain't got to be fair either. Mating's not fair. Mating is not fair. And I was wondering how Obsidian's Afghani airlift was going. Did he get any takers?
Very, very badly.
It's very bad.
Yeah. No takers so far. No takers.
Have you heard about that, Bernard? I have. As a matter of fact, I'm considering doing a mock ad on it. I call it the brother man, the Taliban brother man option. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, you think you're gonna do a mock ad where you're essentially mocking SYSBM and Passport Bros?
Well, what I'm saying is for those black men who have made, and you have to go back and listen to the live.
I listened to it.
Okay. So yeah, I don't want to relitigate that because people can go back and listen to it. But in a nutshell, I'm saying to those black men who have argued, I can't get along with the American black woman, Western women in general, American black women in particular, I can't get along with them, so on and so forth. Fair enough. There is an option. We now have the world's arguably first, certainly in the 21st century, first red pill men's rights country. And it's called Afghanistan under the Taliban for the black man. There you will be certain that the state will support you as a man.
Yeah, you'll get your virgins and everything.
I mean, because the Taliban runs the country. It's the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. That's its official name. The Taliban is the government. And we know what the Taliban's view is with regard to women. And not only that, they have a special division of the police to whip that trick. I bullcrap you not.
Because
they have a special division of the police department to whoop that trick.
A lot of the brothers say they want, they don't want these baby mamas and they want they don't want a high body count. And I thought, well, Obsidian was rather profound. Going to Afghanistan, you don't get your low body counts, you get your virgins, all of that. But see, I think people mistake in that they think the Passport Bros are quote unquote red pill. Some of us are, some of us aren't.
That's a good point.
I don't care about baby mamas.
Because a lot of the arguments that they make against y'all is that they will say, "Oh, well, that ain't red pill if you doing this or if you're doing this and you're doing that."
We're not about that life.
Yeah, and that's what's up. That's what's up. I respect that. But let me throw this out there because this sort of lends to my whole little opening monologue. If you say the women are clear that all they want is just a high value man. Okay, let's go back in the time machine like I did at the beginning of the show. 2017 to 2019, they were arguing, passionate, foaming at the mouth, arguing with Obsidian and anybody else who would listen when the Educated Lane versus Pookie and Ray Ray debate started, saying that they wanted, that the Pookie and Ray Ray, that was the warrior class. That was, so it gets to a point where it's just an online algorithmic, it's like nailing Jello to a wall. It's not going, like everything's just going to fall down. It's like they're just saying. It's like it's almost to some degree you can make a case that they're just saying stuff. If you understand what I'm saying, or no?
Well, I don't know if they're just saying it or not. I know what they're saying, and they're saying it consistently. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I take them at their word. I don't believe the women are children statement that a lot of these red pill dating coaches do. No, I don't know. You're an adult.
I don't agree with that either.
You're an adult. You either behave like an adult, or we're not going to set horses, as my grandfather used to say. We don't set horses. So if you tell me that's how you rolling, I believe it. You don't have to tell me fat meat is greasy. I believe it.
All right. We're gonna go to Platinum Elite, who ain't been up here in a while. Shout out to Platinum. Welcome back. What you got, man?
Oh, how you guys doing, man? I'm just saying hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know about that, Obsidian. That's a no for me. The Afghan, they're too quick with the blades over there, bro. No trial, nah, no thank you.
But you ain't got to worry about it though, because the state will look. If you got a woman that back talk,
don't trust them.
They got the special police. They will come in and whoop that trick for you. You ain't got to handle it. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
I got you. I got what they. But
they got a special division of the police that you listen. All you guys that are concerned about tattoos, you're concerned about these women or with these hooker type wares and all of that. They got a special division of the police that deals with all that. That lady comes out the house with too much revealing there, they're gonna whoop that trick.
I got you on that, but you still would be viewed as an American over there, and you would be, at risk. I just don't trust what they say about, oh, you will be protected. I do not believe that at all. So no thanks for me. Nah, that's way too risky. But as a guy who actually lived overseas, if you want to pursue a woman over there, I keep telling you, I just don't see the difference. I mean, not the attractive ones. They're pretty much westernized, and they're pretty much the same as American women, So, but guys keep saying it's easier and they're feminine and they're submissive. If you go to them from the church, yeah. If you get to them through Christian ministries and stuff like that, through mail order brides, yeah.
Well, here it's easier, Platinum, because just like these women here say they want a quote unquote high value man, a man making six figures. When you change your geography as an American citizen, now you are that guy.
Okay. Well, I don't see. That's what I'm saying. I don't want easier. You know what I'm saying? I'll deal with the resistance, as you say, as we say, Obsidian, chop the hose. We'll chop the hose. But
you said you don't want easier. I'm going to go out on a limb and say when you get out on the prowl trying to chop holes in my flows, that you go after the easy catch.
No. Who?
Bullshit.
If you have drunk in the club closing, you park it. Yeah. If you just don't care. If you
don't go after the low-hanging fruit. You get the fruit that already fell off the tree and it been on the ground for 3 days. Cut it out, Platinum. Damn.
I don't. I mean, I like the way Bernie just puts words in my mouth. Right?
I'm messing with you.
But
real talk. Men, no, I'll speak for myself. I'll speak for myself.
Ones, those beautiful women. Whether I don't care where you go. You can go to if you go over here. Well, I've been looking at these European females. These immigrants and stuff coming. Those women's bodies are just fucking unfucking believable. I mean, just go get them. If I don't speak Russian, I don't speak their language and stuff, but I'm just saying those. Huh?
You don't speak Pashto?
No, I don't. But I'm saying if you just look at them from a physical standpoint, those women are unbelievable as far as physical beauties. But I just don't. I think that the top-notch women, even you go to Afghanistan, those upper echelon women, they're gonna give you the same amount of resistance. In other
Have you ever
words,
been to Afghanistan?
No, they won't.
No, sir. No, I haven't.
I have, and you're wrong.
No, they won't.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go to. Well, you got to fly.
Wait, hold on. See,
I don't want to go to Afghanistan.
Here's my thing with that. If you say the top notch will give you the same amount of resistance as women over here, okay, if she's truly top notch, she's probably dealing with wealthy men over there. So a wealthy American dollars that, yeah, it could be tomato to her.
And she's not, Bernard. She's delivering.
Well, I'm just following his logic all the way home.
Yeah, but remember, he ain't even been over there.
I know. I'm Grant. He said he haven't.
Yeah, he hadn't been over there. So I mean, Platinum, you my guy, but your opinion is mute on that. We talking about.
No, I haven't been to Afghanistan. I have no desire to go, but I haven't been to Afghanistan.
Right. But listen, okay, this is what.
And hold up, I would venture to say that you had a very limited interaction with the population over there. If you was over there like via the
right.
I know you went over there on your own. I know you went on there as a free.
Listen. This is we get goofy when we start trying to convince men that going to a place, a dating market where your dollar is worth 50 times more or 100 times more does not improve your positioning. Like let's not. That's where it just gets goofy to me. Where I don't understand why anybody would argue against that. Now,
from people who have never left Gary, Indiana.
If traveling is not your thing, foreign women is not your thing. I've never left the country other than Canada, so that ain't my thing over there. But I can connect simple dots and say that
with prostitutes.
Right now, if I have $10,000 in the bank to my name, and I go to a country where that $10,000 gets times by 100 and becomes, is that $1 million? Math is kicking my ass. Shout out to Tommy.
Well, the exchange rate right now is it's you need the currency in Afghanistan is called the Afghan.
Well,
So you would need 79.9307 Afghanis to $1.
See, this is Bernard. This is how I know I'm
okay,
talking to
so
guys who haven't been anywhere. Because if they have actually been to these places, they would realize that your real currency is the fact that you are an American.
yeah, that part too.
They not in your wallet. You already go to the top of the heap simply because you're American.
In
You go
Afghanistan.
overseas, you become a superstar because you're American.
Hold on, but wait a minute, brother. In Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, wherever, man.
This brother right here.
Listen again. You know, you would think in spaces where you have guys who are ex-military who've actually traveled the world, you think you'd be quiet and listen because we've actually been over there. You would think.
Actually, I have lived overseas, and I'm telling you that certain countries are friendly
And
some
Platinum
are
was ex-military too.
unfriendly.
Platinum was
Some are unfriendly though. That's what I'm saying.
Certain countries are, but if
you're
you go to
picking
somewhere like Europe or Australia or
no.
Germany,
Okay.
any of these places, y'all have these conversations like everywhere other than America is some third world sand trap.
I was just making the point. I was just making the point in response to the brothers who said they can't get along with Black American women. I'm just giving them a red pill option. Afghanistan is a red pill country now. It is.
All right, I want to get to what specifically prompted Silent to request a link, but shout out to Ash L. Says I'll stick to my busty Latinas. Shout out to you and your busty Latina.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Shout out to where my man number 16, who's a channel member. Shout out to you. Thank you for becoming a member. He says, why are we even talking about Afghanistan? Who the fuck would want to go there? Damn it, I meant to not. If you are really on that time, there are other Muslim countries less
Fubar.
Fucked
up beyond all recognition.
That's true. But they're not as red pill though.
Shout out to number 16 with the $5 treat. Shout out to that. Yeah, what Obsidian did there. I mean, it was kind of tongue in cheek. It was funny. I do get to. There's the serious point out of there is that sometimes when we start talking about changing laws and everything, I always say, what laws what do you want changed? And does the changing of the laws that you want change? Do we essentially start looking like what's over there? And do you want that? I mean, do you really want that? So that's a good conversation can come out of it from there. But a lot of what Obsidian was doing in that stream was tongue in cheek. It was funny. It was satire, but it was in a good Obsidian satire. There's a lot of embedded truth within it. But
you're right, Bernard. A lot of brothers want to change the laws. They do that over there. You can get more than one wife. That's by law. That's under Sharia, Islamic law. You can have up to 4 wives under Islamic law. Okay, you can do that. She can't be back talking. Like I told you, they already got a special division of the police over there. They'll come over and whoop that trick for you. All you gotta do is dial 911.
All right. So now we go into silent, and so yeah, what was said that prompted you to come up? I think it's when I said something to
they just talk.
Yeah, they just talking, you know, when the whole Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated Lame thing was going on, they was arguing. They was saying stuff like, well, just because you have an education and good income, how does that make you a viable mate? The Pookie and Ray Rays are the warrior class, and blah 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 blah. Now we got a whole herd of women, hundreds of thousands strong, saying, no, this is what we want, and then so it's just like a revolving door of just words.
And Bernard, what in Great Webster's dictionary do they call that?
I think nigga
dance, nigga dance, do the nigga dance. That's what they call that. That's why I call it nigga dancing, right? Yosemite Sam, right? You know the cartoon, dance nigga dance while they shooting bullets at your feet. That's why I came up with 1.21 nigawatts. And by the way, for those who don't know, that's a play on Back to the Future. Gigawatts, you know. Fire up the fuckery capacity and get back on this bullshit. All right. You know, build a rocket ship to the moon, right? All of these conversations are happening because black men have shot down all of the other bullshit arguments. Niggas ain't taking care of their kids. All these niggas are in jail. Niggas ain't this. Niggas ain't that. So now the manosphere has come up and swatted all of those bullshit arguments away. So now the women were struggling to kind of regain the footing, to regain the control of the conversation. So now they presented you with something that they know most people can't meet. Okay, if you niggas make $100,000 a year, because the reality is, if all you niggas made $100,000 a year, then she would say, but you can't breathe underwater though. So you are nigga dancing to that goalpost relocation. You talking about $100,000?
Hold on, real quick. That's my word. That's my phrase right there. The goalpost relocation engineer. Shout out to Truth. I forgot about that one. I got to bring that one back. And I haven't dropped the. Hold on, because since we're talking about moving that goalpost, where is that? I haven't dropped it in a while. All right, yeah, I had to drop the goalpost relocation. Shout out to Truthers. I know it. I forgot about my little phrase, goalpost relocation engineer. Anyway, go ahead, Silent. You got it.
I mean, again, it's just that, again, that goalpost move. They know that most people don't make $100,000 a year. I mean, and the only reason the men are talking about it is because the women are talking about it. Well, because the women said that in order for us to get you, make $100,000. So what's the solution? Make $100,000. As if you're not watching. If you look, I think they did a spreadsheet on the world's richest men, and most of the women are divorcing them too. So again, that logic just doesn't hold up. We have to be able to say, okay, if they're saying 100,000 will cooperate, then are those $100,000 men getting cooperation? No, they're leaving them niggas too. All of your tall, decent looking, rich basketball actors and world leaders, they're getting left too. The problem is you're dealing with a defective product. And we won't just call it what it is. The women have been telling you for years exactly what it is, exactly what they want. And at best, right now, you're just a walking ATM, and niggas are proud to be that. If you couldn't get her making $60,000 a year, then she gonna finesse you at 100. I mean, do you really? That's what you really want? Is some woman that sees you as a walker ATM that you couldn't build? She couldn't see herself building a family with you, making 60 grand when then that pretty much puts you at the top 1% of all men in the entire fucking universe.
But hold on, let me ask you this, Silent. Real quick. Hold on, real quick. Somebody got some clicking. Let me ask you this. Even though I know you would agree that a man making more money, that does increase his value, and if she's valuing him more because he's making that more money,
she doesn't value him though.
It doesn't matter why she wants him.
Give you more opportunities.
Yeah, hold on, but just look at it like this: if he understands, if she values, if she sees more value in him or whatever, and he understands his value, so he demands more and has certain requirements and this or that, then the game works. As long as the man has his mind right. It only doesn't work if the man says, "Okay, I made the money. Now she gonna like me." Then he's on some goofy shit. But if he understands the true value that he has and can set certain standards and requirements, I think is a good deal. I think that's cool.
I would agree, but that's not really in context what we're talking about.
Explain.
We're basically following women saying, okay, the women said they'll get in line at $100,000. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, well, I mean that's not how I frame the conversation. That's not how I frame the conversation. But there are some people, and that goes back to my opening monologue where I was saying we just can't get goofy with the conversation and let the most recent algorithmic viral thing warp our mind in the conversation, and we're not even giving critical analysis. We're just saying,
"Oh man, I've been giving that critical analysis."
Some women online said this, therefore we got to do this. You're right. That's the nigga dance. That's the nigga dance, and some people are falling for. We do got to stay firm and strong on a proper critical analysis of everything. Wally D in the building. Thank you for not the super chat, but becoming a member. I do appreciate you becoming a member, and I think that is the same, or at least the same picture of. Damn it, I don't got the names up no more. I removed that, but that
just for
he goes by code still. shout out to you. I was going to pass the mic to
Well,
him.
I'm still trying to kill it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you landed the plane.
Well, I thought,
Well, no, you were. I was. You were.
but
you
that
were trying to
number's
ask
too
me a
low.
question.
That number's too low to have for quality. I mean, just for clarity, it's 250 for 5 years. That's high value, man. 250,000 for 5 years, and that's less than 1%.
Where did you get that from? Where did you get that
That's
from?
high
Where did
value,
you get?
man.
Where did stop? Where did you get the 250,000 from?
That's what Kevin says. 250,000 for 5 years.
That's not what he said.
He says 100. He says 100,000 or 10,000 a month, depending on where you
100.
live. Adjusted
Oh, okay, my
for
fault.
adjusted
My
for
fault.
inflation or no. But a lot of the people that call in, like let's just say they live in LA. Okay, that number is higher in LA. So that's where you might have heard him say for 3 kids all going to private school, can all go to college, can all get a car when they turn 16, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's gonna run about 350,000. That's where that astronomically high number come from. Where that's just a foreign language to me. It don't cost that much to raise a goddamn family. But either way, that's where those high numbers come from. But shout out to my fault. Silent was trying to. I thought he landed the plane, but he pulled back
Well, I
up.
was landing, and then you started asking me questions.
Yeah, you went back into the clouds, and now you're about to come back down to the landing strip eventually. Go ahead, you got it. I'm playing you like you pulled the Edward Anderson.
Well, no, Edward get to talk for 12 minutes straight before he gets interrupted. I'm just trying to get to 30 seconds.
Oh, come on, cut it out.
Damn it. What was damn it, I was trying to land somewhere.
I can come back to you.
Just the kind of the just kind of the nigga dance, right? You know, look, in rules, look, we live in like I know this is now the now generation and the Instagram generation. And so here's the problem. The problem is you're not competing to be a good man who has his shit together. The problem is you're trying to compete with the modern women's delusions. And that goalpost is constantly going to be shaving. You're trying to compete with what she sees on her Instagram stories, and in her mind, she says that's bagels. That's what you're competing against. So then when you go talk to her, she's all in your wallet because she saw Instagram with some rich nigga buying his girl a bunch of purses. So now you got to make $250,000 because she's insane. It's really that simple. There's no way that you in America that you shouldn't be able to, if you can't build a solid familial foundation with people making $50,000, $60,000 a year, then you don't deserve a husband. And anything beyond that, you're just looking to hoodwink a nigga. You're just looking to finesse. You're just looking for a bigger bank account to make more money available for you to rob on the way out. I'm sorry. You don't, a good woman doesn't go into a relationship talking about my nigga needs to make $100,000. Now, if you happen to fall in love with a dude that's rich or make that much money, that's okay. But for that to be a demand, we live in a gold digging generation. So maybe that sounds normal. But that is not how you approach a relationship if you actually want to build something. We're not even talking about building anything anymore. We're talking about dudes making enough money so they can pass along transaction resources. Or what we're talking about is older men essentially taking the get the bag culture in order to use that to dirty mac against younger men to compete with them to get those women because they can't compete with them naturally. It's the same shit our old uncle's been doing. Yeah, girl, come on and get in my Cadillac. You want a few dollars? The old niggas been doing that shit for years. Stop.
Well, can I ask a question though? What percentage of women you say think like that? Silent.
90%. 90%. If you consider,
I don't agree with it. I'm just saying he says 90.
Agree. I knew you were going to ask me a question and then not agree with it anyway, Platinum.
I accept that that's your answer. I just don't think that 90% of women. I don't think 90% of women looking for a man to make
I disagree. 90%. Well, this is what they want.
Okay, wait, hold on. What they ideally would want versus what they end up having sex with, two different things. So I think that's where Platinum at with it. I don't think
they're
not just holding back the vagina until they find a man that make X number of dollars. Now there's some
No, what
that
they're
can play.
doing.
There are some. Hold on, there are some that can effectively play that game, but the majority of women, no, not even almost. They can't
No,
even almost
Bernard.
play that game.
What they're doing is what, just like you seen on Cologne's last show. She is going to hold her cards close to her chest. See, the problem was that woman was honest. The woman that got kicked out of the house to go to counseling, she ended up marrying an older dude that did what he was supposed to do. Now she calling Kevin to figure out how to get back with her old dude. The only problem
that wasn't
she
the
did,
last show, yeah.
right? The only thing she did wrong is she said the shit out loud. That's it. When you got women leaving marriages at 90 damn %, plenty of them women think the same way she does. You know what they say? I'm just not happy, or we just couldn't work it out, or he was insecure. They start using all of these little word games. The only problem that woman did is she was 100% honest. But if you do not believe, there ain't millions of other women who think exactly like that. You've been watching Cologne's show for the last year and have heard degenerates call up to his show. And then you look at our community and the results, and it's obvious what's happening. You're just now getting a chance to hear this shit from women's mouth. See, before, all you would hear was niggas just would leave. That's the only voice you had in the room. Now what you're finding out by letting her talk is that she thought she could do better. She wanted to go back to the streets. It's all on her. It's not men. We've had these conversations. The problem is not men. The problem isn't that men don't mind, that men don't want to pay, because men have been paying. The problem is that men see that what they're paying for is not worth it. Men are practical. Men are cost benefit analysis givers. If I'm going to buy a product,
you're still in the word right out of Kevin Samuel's mouth, by the way.
I was trying to ask. I was going to ask, who is Cologne? I don't know who that is.
Cologne is Kevin Samuel's. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, but no, he always make that point on the show that men are cost benefit calculators.
Well, in all fairness, I work in finance, so I use the term cost benefit analysis.
Yeah, but my thing is, what are you gonna do though?
Hold on, real quick. But what I'm saying is that the men have determined this is what SYSBM is. Essentially, men walking away and taking money out of the system. Hence why Zales jewelries are closing. Hence why clubs are closing. Because men are taking money out of the system. And that threatens a lot of people. And it also threatens a lot of women. Remember when we were on your show a couple years ago and we were saying that women are seeing a direct effect of this. This is why they're calling Kevin's show, because they're not getting taken to Ruth Chris. They're not getting bought bags. They're not getting those free drinks. They're not getting those rings bought for them. Hence, where are all the men going? Where's all my free money going? Where are all my simps that I used to be able to fall back on after riding the carousel? I'm 30 years old. See, those women used to have stepdaddies. Those women used to have men that were stupid and didn't know any better that they could fall back on. But now you have a large percentage of 30, 35-year-old women who have ran their market.
All right, wait. Damn, I don't know who dropped. I don't know. I think Pablo dropped. Damn, real quick. I do want to go to I want to go to Cold Steel. Platinum, what did you mean when you said, well, what are you gonna do about it? That's a weird question to ask, because I mean Silent.
No, because he was
Silent
basically
is just fine. He likes the dating market. He's living just fine in it. Like, what do you mean? So what do you mean by what are you gonna do about it?
Well, I'm sure. No, hey, look, I don't question anybody. He says he didn't sound like it, but I'm just saying,
I have to say,
what are you gonna do? Women are gonna
hold on. So
my phone.
With that question, was that question more or less predicated on you basically assuming from were you just taking what he was saying and then went from there to the conclusion that he must be struggling in the dating market? Basically, that was a nice way of saying you just mad because you can't get no pussy.
No. How you gonna be on both sides, Bernie? What side are you on? Are you got all these problems with them, yet you're functioning fine with it?
Somebody say, which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on?
Okay, I got you, man. You're right. I haven't been around. I know how you got. Look, at the end of the day, bro, you're gonna complain about the bitch. You're gonna fuck the bitch. I mean, that's either do it or don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't complain. I'm gonna go in and get mine. I don't give a fuck what they doing. They could be hanging from the ceiling. I'm out there. I'm gonna hang from the ceiling. I'm gonna do what they doing. Who cares? They want some money. I ain't got no money. I'm gonna go to the next chick. I'm not gonna sit there and
Yeah,
debate whether they need to bring their
happens all
price
the
down.
time when somebody gives a large scale macro analysis. Then the counter argument is, yeah, but I'm getting pussy though. It's like
No. Bernie. Men have to adjust to the way the world is. I mean, we cannot sit
of
around.
course.
We can play the political game. We can do all of that. But I'm saying the guys who are out here slawing, they're gonna make the adjustments.
No, but I don't think his points that he was making. I don't think whether or not he was slawing or not slawing. Rather, he was slawing or not slawing. The points that he made was not contingent upon whether or not he was slawing or not slawing. But it's funny how that's what people hear when they hear somebody describing what women are doing. It's just it's a weird thing.
Yeah, and
I got it. Hold on. Let me get these super chats. I got a lot of them. The hood Haitian in the building. He says most men. Oh, I see Game Changer wanted the link. There it is, right there. The hood Haitian in the building. He says most men still trying to turn hoes into housewives. The good women are boring. Young men I mentor are finding it hard to leave the lit women alone. You're a mentor. The hood Haitian is mentoring someone.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. That is interesting.
Is.
The goalpost moves for men they don't want. Men they like bring whatever. I heard a woman say he has kids by multiple women, but he's a good father. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's completely fine. That's completely fine. I agree with Pablo in this regard. I mean, black folk have got to get out of this idea that, there's an EEOC for mating. Or there's, we should have an affirmative action deal for dating or something. No, there's nothing fair about it. There's nothing consistent about it. Inherently hypocritical.
Well, that ain't what I gathered from CJ's comment. I just thought he was just identifying what it was. I don't think he was calling for some. No.
What I'm simply saying in his statement, which he's right to. I mean, we all know some iteration of that, and I'm pretty sure the ladies could say the same thing on the other side. The simple point is, and this again goes back to my thesis earlier, Bernard. I don't think we've caught on to this yet. We haven't caught on to freedom. What does mating look like in a free society? See, black people have never really had to deal with that until very recently, while the rest of the country has been living with this for over a century. We're about 60 to 100 years behind everybody else in this regard. Mm-hmm. It's going to take time for us to catch up.
All right. Oswald in the building with the $20 in KD back in here with another $50 super chat. Definitely shout out to KD, always coming through. Be supporting everybody channel. One of the heavy hitters on that super chat. So shout out to him. Shout out to both of you coming through hard and heavy handed with the super chat. All right, we going to Cold Steel, even though your name covered up. There you go. We're going to Cold Steel. Thank you for your patience. Appreciate you coming on the program today, and thank you very, very much for becoming a member. Go ahead, you got the floor. You have the mic.
Hi, no problem. So, so what's the question? How do the high value men get wives, or how do the women get a high value man? Well, I think the high value men have got to maybe with sexual attraction. So it's looks, physique, sexual attraction, and confidence. Oh yeah, and masculine frame. So he's got to be the leader. So basically, women treat different men differently. So basically, he's got to be like man enough to tell her what to do, and like just if we can't date unless you do what I say. Basically,
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you related to Chaos Reign?
No, I'm not sure who that is, so probably not.
Okay, all right, fine, that's fine. All right, no, thank you for your comment. Charles Merchant in the building. He says too many guys erroneously forget that women practice a dual mating strategy. They charge top dollar. to men they are not attracted to. They charge nothing to men. They want
that excite them, basically.
that excite them.
Yeah, and to that, if I may say,
Shout out to Charles Murphy.
from a SYSBM passport bro perspective, if I'm gonna have to pay, I want the best I can get. I want the best deal I can get. Hold on, wait a minute. And yeah, I want the slim 42-inch behind and a 24-inch waist. Large, round-breasted Hawaiian silky girl. Yes, I want her for my dollar. So I don't all that. Oh, well, you go there and she's a baby mama. You're right. Yes, because she's hotter. Yes. Thank you.
So excuse me for a second. So a man is going to take an L if he's in the frame of paying for the woman. It's got to be the frame of the woman working for the man. And not only that, there's also the issue of if the man doesn't try to get sex, doesn't want sex quickly, she sees him as less confident. That's why they have babies with the Pookies and Ray Ray, because all they want is sex. So the high value man has got to have that mentality. All he wants is sex. I mean, not only thing he wants, but that's like the number one thing he wants. You know.
Could you give us a work in your?
I'm my fault. Go. I mean, accidentally muted your game changer right when you started talking. Go ahead.
No worries. I was saying, could you give us an example of how this actually worked in your personal life?
For me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually single right now,
but in the past, in the past.
Well, I've had like dozens or even hundreds of opportunities to sleep with women casually. And basically, the only way it would have happened is I would have had to directly said it out loud, because like when I started like having just like a friendly conversation, they lost interest, because like I've always had a good physique.
Okay, wait, time out, real quick. It sounds like you said that you had opportunities to sleep with women casually, but it never went through.
Right.
Have you? When's the last time? Hold on, real quick. When's the last time you were in a relationship?
It's been years. I haven't actually been in too many relationships, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, wait a minute. So if the times that you had opportunities to sleep with women casually, if you fell through and it didn't happen, and you just said you've never really been in a relationship. So you weren't having relationship sex or casual sex. That means you've been having no sex. It means you're technically an incel.
Not really. So I was in a relationship where the woman did respect me. And
did you have sex with her?
And the only reason but the only reason I didn't was because I didn't try to, basically.
Brother. You do realize you came up here trying to give advice, but in your actual life you have not done or executed any of that advice.
Okay, can I ask a question real quick? Like, what dating coach? What dating coach have you been?
I was going there. Because I mean, it sounded like he was reading.
Who's your guy? Who's your guy?
Alan Roger Curry.
Oh God! Oh no! Say it ain't so.
Okay, so
did you give him any money? Did you give him any money?
I haven't actually given him any money.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me give you an example.
Dating coaches, hold this L. Hold it.
Wow.
What's that?
Wow.
Okay, so let me give you an example, right? Let me give you an example. Well, I don't know.
Oh man.
Okay, so what are the whole
real quick time out. Hold on, time out. ARC, if there's not a I'm
Stop the
quite
bleeding.
sure there's a confidentiality agreement that should go both ways. Where you can have your clients don't come out here saying crazy stuff and be like, and Alan Roger Curry is my coach. Yeah.
Well, I only said that because you asked me. I'm giving you
Oh,
my
fuck.
opinion.
Please stop
Hold
the
on,
bleeding.
hold on. Like clockwork. Mail had to show up.
How you doing, fellas?
Bleeding, man. Stop the bleeding. Somebody stop it.
Did somebody?
Now,
Somebody
I
said
had to
Alan
jump up
Roger
here
Curry.
when I heard this fool said that shit, man.
Hold
no,
on,
I've talked to him, and
real quick.
Somebody
Hold
stop
on.
the bleeding.
Real quick. Hold
Who
on.
wants to go first on him, man?
I'm gonna mute you for a second, GC. I think it's some little feedback. Mel saw like the mode 1 bat symbol in the air, and he just sprung into action.
No,
God damn.
hold up. I've talked to him. He's joined my streams recently, like the last 2 weeks, and he has a lot of resistance. So you can't put that on Alan.
No, I'm not putting it on.
Yeah. Guys have to listen.
Real quick.
Guys have to listen.
Real quick. No, hold on. Time out. Let me make it very clear. I'm not putting anything on Alan Roger Curry.
Yeah, you were having fun. I know we're having fun.
ARC is my guy, friend of the show. It's just funny as hell. ARC aside, what Homeboy was doing, we could tell right out the gate that he was practically reading a script. Like that.
No.
That was, I don't know, pump the brakes. We could tell that was obvious. And I could tell that the first question I was going to ask him, but I wanted to wait to the end to say, are you currently paying a dating coach? That was the first thing that popped in my head. And I think Pablo or Game Changer, one of y'all beat me to the punch on that one. And so I knew whatever dating coach he said, it was going to have to hold an L that is really not the fault. I mean, if you're coaching somebody, they are where they are when you start coaching them. So this isn't a negative on ARC's ability to coach somebody, but yeah,
not actually coaching.
It need to be a confidentiality agreement. Don't just hop up on a panel and say I'm coaching you and you're sounding crazy and shit.
But there's a dogma for guys who don't get women. And there's a dogma for guys who do, and it's a huge disagreement.
The problem. No. Hold on, real quick. If he would have just spoke like somebody who didn't get women or had a hard time getting women, I would have no problem for that. There's a place for you to we can talk, we can chop. Hey, any help or advice I can give. And I'm not a dating coach, but hey, it's a lot of information out here in the manosphere that could help somebody out if they're having problems with women. The problem is that he came on like he was the expert giving the advice, and we could just hear it coming out of his pores. That you ain't about that life. We don't believe you. You need more people. That's what was going on. As soon as he started talking, he started trying to just basically read a script of things that he heard or read. And so that was the problem. That was the problem. But go ahead, Coach. You got it.
Let me tell you more about my. So women show a lot of interest and flirt with me a lot. Like the other day, a woman called me sexy. Okay, so and my problem has always been closer.
Were you at a strip club?
No.
All right, that's my last joke. I don't want to be mean.
Yeah, I'm a manager at Walmart, and I was pushing in a line of parts, and a woman walked by and leaned in my ear and called me sexy, right? But that's just one example. I have like dozens of examples with interest, and
you got an echo.
You got an echo of some sort.
Okay. To close the deal, I would have. Hold on a second.
Yeah. All right. Game Changer, you was building towards something. I cut you off. I think we probably was going right down the same road, but I don't know if I cut you off before you got to where you was trying to get to. So you can go ahead, Game Changer.
No, that's exactly where I was going. I did have the feeling that this was more giving advice on something that you didn't really have the experience in, but it's hopeful. Someone gives you advice and you say, okay, this is what you do to get women, and you regurgitate advice even if it's not as successful as you may want it to be. So no, we were going down the same direction.
Yeah. All right, Mel. You came up. You saw the mode 1 bat symbol in the air. You came up to. You
Call someone cat, brother.
You gotta defend the honor of Sir Alan Roger Curry. So go ahead.
You kind of did some of the work for me, man. We call him a cat, man. Yo, Cold Still, man. Let me ask you something, man. For real, you said you talked to them girls, and they just one minute they was interested in you, and the next minute they were not.
Yeah. So what I found consistently is if I just have a small talk conversation, they lose interest. So basically, they weren't interested in just friendly conversation. They wanted to smash. So I would have had to be direct about it to close the deal.
You said they wanted to smash.
Yes, exactly.
They came to you, said they wanted to smash when you had the small talk, but you didn't.
They flirted and showed interest, and then the interest level went down when I made small talk. And then, so another example is there's a girl that immediately I asked for her phone number, right before I even knew her name, right? And so it was a girl that I saw at the workplace like once or twice a week. So she started showing a lot more interest after that was basically a mode 1 approach, sort of. Well, not exactly mode 1, kind of, but I showed
look. At the most basic level of interaction with women, I'm talking about. Even your moms can teach you this. When women want to fuck you, you shut up. When they've shown clearly you're interested and they want to fuck you, you shut up. That's when you stop talking and you proceed to follow them where they want to take you. And it's no more talking. Why would you try to engage?
Now, hold on. Now what's going to happen? Somebody else is going to fire up a stream and open it up and going to be talking about women. And he's going to hop on a panel and now he's going to repeat exactly what Platinum just said right there.
No. To respond to
but
what
Platinum speaking facts. He just alluded to mode 0 and stuff. Women doing the work without you doing anything. She gave him the pass. Like, y'all want to fuck you first, and he screwed it up.
I would ask the question: how did he know that she wanted to have sex with him? That's a question I would ask. But I just want to pass this to Obsidian. Hold on, real quick. Let's go in the direction of Obsidian here. Obsidian, what advice would you give to the gentleman here in the hot seat? Old man is not with us. I don't think old man has any. I don't know if old man has any. Okay, all right.
I just got back. Yeah, what's up? I was just making me a very healthy banana blueberry smoothie. Okay, go ahead.
You got some sea moss in there, Obsidian?
Say what?
You got some sea moss in there?
Nah, no sea moss. Just bananas, blueberries, vanilla Greek yogurt, and some almond milk.
Get some sea moss, brother. Definitely help you out.
All right. So yeah, one thing I was just throwing out there, Obsidian. There we go. ARC in the building. But I was just about to ask Obsidian, what is your take on this? You got any advice for the brother or any just analysis?
I'll defer to Alan once he comes up here. He can take it. He can take it from there. But I did want to tack back a bit to Silent Lamont's earlier remarks. I do see where Platinum is coming from with it. If Silent is good looking, successful, single, no entanglements, that is to say, no previous divorces or children to take care of, anything like that, and does well with the ladies, it does seem to be a bit out of step with the sheer ferocity of the delivery of his statements. It does seem kind of out of joint. If you're essentially winning in I love the way you put it, Bernard. If you're essentially winning in the pussy riot, why all the ferocity?
Well, I can explain that. So just like a wealthy person or even a downright rich person would complain about the price of gas, now they have money and they can afford gas, and they can pretty much afford a gas station if they want to, or they can afford a significant chunk of stocks in Chevron gas companies and things like that. However, they don't feel it's right for companies to arbitrarily raise the price. they value themselves and they value their money. Just because somebody can have something or they have access to something, that doesn't mean that they want to pay an exorbitant price for it.
All right. We're gonna push pause on that one for now because we got ARC up here. So just I was wanting to give a clear backstory just because I don't know what ARC missed, but this gentleman here, Cold Steel, hopped up on the panel and he was giving what amounted to dating advice and a man, being confident and masculine and standing in his frame and not showing the woman, not trying to, buy the woman, but make the woman earn his. He was giving advice, but we could tell how he was talking that it sounded like he was just giving information that he either heard somebody say or he just read. So he was like, have you experienced this in your own personal life? Have this actually worked for you? And then he started talking about chances he had to have casual sex, but it didn't go through. Then I asked him was last time in a relationship. He said some years, or he really hadn't been in one. So I was like, so you haven't had relationship sex or casual sex, dude? You're probably an incel. Why are you coming up here trying to give advice to the men? And then so the question came up: are you like following a dating coach right now? And then he dropped the name Alan Roger Curry. And yes, we did get a good laugh at that. You were the dating coach responsible for this gentleman, but then I made it clear that it's not your fault. But I defended you. They was trying to clown you in the chat saying that this is what. But anyway, but that's the backstory. That's what happened, and so ARC, you have the floor.